Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Closed Traffic Podcast. Hope you guys are all well. I got my co-host here, Mr. Johnny, aka Stalker Actual Gaming, aka he's found some internet, aka he's got a new camera for us today, aka Johnny, man. What's going on? Say what's up to the people.
Hey man, how's it going? You know what? Now I retract my previous statement from the last show because I cut you some slack last time. I didn't get you last time. I mean that's okay. We can't all have Teslas and all that fun stuff. So hey, good man. How's it going, Mike?
Hey man, I can't call it, man. I'm just here. I'm happy to be on for the show today. I'm happy to welcome back our guest, Mr. Steve from the High Performance Group. Man, what's going on? How you been?
Oh man, I've been good, fellas. How about yourself?
All good, man. All good. Listen, man.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll leave this to you to share the news, obviously, but I definitely want to give our audience here a little bit of a recap here. What's going on the last couple of weeks? So I know. Man, it was like 2 weeks ago now. We were supposed to have Steve on, and we literally switched it up. I think, man, not 5. I'm lying. What was it? The day before? I think it was a couple hours.
No, day of, bro. It was like
day of. Yeah, it was day of. Day of. Was switched around a couple of minutes before. I get to that in a second. So it was the day of. Had to switch that. Steve will let you tell your story for sure, but we had to switch that. So Johnny and I were like, all right, that's cool. We'll just run a regular duo show. Literally 15 minutes before the show, Johnny goes, hey man, we got another guest on. We got another guest that wants to come on today, because obviously, that was in the works for quite some time. And we were able to get him on, 5 minutes before the show started. Man, and all that.
It was a great episode, man. I love that one.
Appreciate it, man, because that was literally on the fly. It was literally on the fly. It's a great series. It's a great aircraft.
Tends to be a trend here lately, Mike. I don't know, man. Maybe we need to work on find another producer, bro. But yeah, we
need to fire ourselves. You're saying, right? Yeah, man.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to fire ourselves. Defiant.
Oh man, for sure. But Steve, man, you're here nonetheless. Welcome back. Do you want to share with the audience, man? Kind of how your last couple of weeks has gone?
Yeah. So we had the podcast plan, like you said, and my daughter, she was actually due a few days before we had made the arrangements for the podcast, and she just was super comfortable, didn't want to come out, and then that morning they finally, literally, it's so funny. I was still working through the whole thing. I was like, all right, I'm going to continue to work, and I'm just going to take off once the baby actually comes. Right. And I'm sitting there messaging someone at work, and they asked me, oh, hey, is the baby here yet? I'm like, no, not yet. We're still waiting. She's comfortable. And after she was born, I went back and checked the timestamp. It was 20 minutes in between me sending that message and her actually being here. So 10:31 a.m., the 21st. Wow. But yeah, man, it's just crazy, because our first story, she came in, went like that, but this one, she was, like I said, she was just comfortable. But yes, that's why I had to skip out on you guys last time. I appreciate you being accommodating. Like I said, man, that was a great episode. So I'm glad that, I'm glad
appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. I listen. At the end of the day, there's no greater joy, right, than having your child being born. So we just didn't want to tell everyone right then and there what happened.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We just we want to give give that to you. But I think our audience was understanding. So
we want to be messy, Steve, for lack of better term. That's what Mike's really saying.
Exactly. But good to have you back nonetheless, man.
Thank you.
To have you back. So I think you were on with us, I want to say September. I can't believe it. Time flies. I feel like it was just a couple of months ago, but it was way back in September. In fact, it was Saturday night of Flight Sim Expo, because I remember Johnny and I weren't, going to be able to make it. I think we gave it till about the couple of days before, and cases were still kind of crazy. And we say, you know what, for the safety of ourselves and for our family, we just couldn't make it. And we realized you weren't going either, man. And we said, hey, why not just run a Saturday night show? And it was pretty late your time, I think, too, man. But you were super accommodating, and we appreciate that. But since then, a lot has happened with High Performance Group. A lot has happened with, some of the other projects you guys are working on all together, but especially for the H145 variant in FS 2020. You want to give us a little bit of recap on everything you all have been working on up until the latest release here? Gosh, what was that, Friday of the HEMS variant?
Yeah, absolutely. So the H1, obviously, if you don't know the history of our company, we started with the freeware H135 helicopter. After that project was kind of wrapped up, we said, we want to up the level of quality, because we had a pretty basic model, but some cool features, but we wanted to update that visual quality, really drive home the immersion for people, go really deep into the system. So in order to do that, you got to have money. Because you got to hire professionals, you got to hire some people who are going to be good at art, you got to hire so anyway, we did that. We launched the early access kind of pledge for the H145 helicopter, and at that time we just wanted to do three variants: a civilian, a luxury, and a military variant. We thought that would cover pretty much all of the things that people wanted to do, and then from day one, people were hitting us up like, "Are you guys doing the medical? Are you guys doing rigging? Are you guys doing this?"
I
And we're like,
remember.
it was not in our initial plans. It just wasn't. We were stuck on those three models. We had actually been in pre-production on those even before actually announcing them. So we were
Okay.
we were on a path that we thought we were going to take. We were going to say, hey, we'll take maybe half a year to a year to finish up this, and then we'll move on to different aircraft, whether it be fixed wing or helicopter. We want to move on to a different project because at this point it's two Airbus helicopters in a row. So you want to be diverse. You want to have some variety. But the demand was just so much that we were like, okay, we can't just leave this unfinished. Let's just go in. Let's do it. Let's put an expansion out there. We'll make it more than just, and this isn't a dig on any other developers, but you have a lot of other aircraft that have variants as well, but they don't always have unique functionality that come with them. It'd be like, oh yeah, this is a different variant, but the only thing that's really changed is some model and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
the body length of the aircraft. Yeah,
exactly. So we were like, let's change let's do that. Let's go all the way on the modeling. Let's be super impressive like we always are when it comes to quality. But let's also try to change the sim in a way. Let's add some real functionality to this. So of course we have the visual stuff you could do. You could drop a guy down a winch and people can role play as much as they want, but let's push a step forward. Let's do some missions. So you have the apps like NeoFly, Skypark, FS Economy, those things that have the randomly generated missions, which are awesome because they give you infinite amount of missions to play. But we said, let's bring it in a little bit. Let's do like very curated missions, kind of like campaigns even, So we're starting to build the foundation of that now. You've got these, these missions where you go to them and it has a specific script that goes along with that. It has a unique scenery that goes along with it. So that's where we're at with the action pack. So the first variant did come out this weekend. That's the HIMS variant. After that, we're going to move on to the firefighting variant, and then we have the offshore rigging, Coast Guard, and then civilian and military cargo variant. So there are 3 in the original pack, and then 5 in this, this expansion pack there. So yeah, we're keeping busy, man. We're keeping busy.
That's awesome, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull up. Actually, it looks like you wrote this, but your press release for the 145 variant. Again, those just joining us, we are on with Steve from High Performance Group, talking through obviously all of the latest from the High Performance Group, including the recently released H145. So, to your point, man, the modeling, the texture work, as always, is pretty phenomenal. And I've seen videos and posts out the wazoo of folks actually, flying this thing and on the missions. I got to get to it myself. It's been a crazy week, but I'm definitely planning to fire up the sim and take this one for a spin, man. It's just phenomenal. Awesome.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, they, our team, we're the hardest critics, and we go through a process of, is this good enough? And obviously you guys have flown other aircraft in the sim. There's that kind of that middle tier of aircraft where it's like, hey, these are good enough,
Right.
But our thing is like, man, we never want to, like, I don't know, it's a psychological thing, but we never want to put out something where we think people are going to be critical of it. So that's why you really have to look kind of hard to find flaws in, our model and our textures. We really try not to take any shortcuts when it comes to that stuff. So
yeah, no, you can tell. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Have you had any? If you guys had any issues with the latest service updates? I've been hearing a lot of shenanigans that's been running afoot with other developers regarding that new latest service pack 9.
Yeah, we personally, we didn't run into many issues. Like, we knew that the sim update was going to break something in the H135, from the beta and everything. So we had that patch ready to deploy. I think it came out same day, maybe within a few hours of the within the sim update 9 going out, and then the H145, nothing broken that. And that was more so because, again, you think of the H135, that was kind of an experiment, a test bed for us for the sim.
Yeah,
so when we came to do the H145, we built that from the ground up with, okay, let's avoid any of the mistakes that we made with the H135, which I won't even say mistakes. It's just kind of par for the course of dealing with the sim. It's an evolving platform. So we just tried to build things that weren't so much reliant on, hey, if this person over here changes a piece of code, it's going to kill everything in our code. We tried to build independently and, fall back where we need to.
Sure.
That brings up a good point. And I think we've seen this time after time with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and it being so new. And it's, obviously contributed to a lot of setbacks for a lot of the other developers out there, whether it's scenery, but mostly it's aircrafts. Is there a way, and obviously me just being kind of green as it relates to coding and how these add-ons are done and put into the sim, but is there essentially, are you always essentially at the mercy of Asobo and Microsoft as it relates to this, or are there ways to code some of these aircrafts and some of these other products that you're releasing for the sim, so that way an update, all these service pack updates don't necessarily contribute to breaking something in the code? Like, how does a developer sort of get around that, or is it really something where you just can't? Like, you're at the mercy of Microsoft and Asobo. You get the beta releases, so hopefully you catch it early enough that it doesn't kind of disrupt your plans for whatever you have going on for GA and for the broader release to the community. But how does one go about that if you can?
Yeah, so it's a complicated answer because there isn't one size fits all. Because a lot of it depends on even how, I don't want to say innovative, that's not the word, but how far you're pushing with the product. Like, for instance, when you guys have Fly Simaware on here, like that 414, they're doing incredible things. So they're going to be like us, where you're chasing stuff after these sim updates come out because it's working against your code. But so I'll explain like this. You can minimize some of the risk by kind of staying simple to the aircraft you build, like stick with the template that they provide for the aircraft. Don't build too much in WASM. Don't build too many, custom systems. You could just include default avionics, use only the default flight model. And in that case, then you're not really impacted that much, but you're also not able to really break the ceiling of what you can do in the sim. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and even flight model stuff, there's sometimes where even they're going to make some flight model changes that even if you were still sticking to the stock script,
it's going to break something.
Yeah, like it might not be like crash the desktop, but it might be, okay, well, now they've changed some type of mechanical airflow, so now my pitch is all out of control, or trim doesn't work the way I expect, So there's stuff like that. Fuel management system, that was something that broke in the Concorde because kudos to those guys. They did something extreme. They built out this entirely new fuel system for the Concorde. But when Asobo on their end also did some changes to the fuel system, what's going to happen? It's going to break. But they responded super quickly. I know Codeman Jack from their team and someone from the community put together, a quick update. So you can kind of be prepared for it. The biggest thing that I see happen, though, is, and I don't know how true this is because we don't have that much direct contact with Asobo because we're not in the marketplace, but
okay.
Some other devs I have seen, they're like, hey, we're giving this feedback to them and they're not making these changes in advance. But, without knowing the ins and outs of that loop, I don't really know what's going on there. It could be something where, hey, we know that this bug is there, but we're not going to be able to fix this before the sim update. Because for their stuff, I mean, and this is why I say you have to be a little fair to Asobo. Their aircraft aren't breaking in these updates. You know what I mean? Like every now and then one of them will have a bug, but their aircraft are staying alive through these updates. It's the third-party developers that are kind of taking the brunt of it. And, it's kind of like I said, I don't want to say risk, but it's part of working in an evolving platform. I'm sure, like we actually had this conversation, amongst our team a few days ago. Like I'm sure at some point the base sim is going to be stable enough. They're going to have all these big features in there that they want, and the base sim will be stable, and they'll probably be just like little minor things, that they'll be tweaking. Because I think they said they have a 10-year plus plan for
10-year roadmap.
Yeah, so I think we're experiencing a lot of turbulence now because we're in the first 2 to 3 years of the sim coming out, but at some point it's going to plateau out because you're just going to run out of this big groundbreaking stuff to even really implement, right? Like this big push that they're making for the 737, like for them to say that, hey, there's enough in here that we could do that now. Same with the Mad Dog, same with the BAE. Like there's enough of that advanced functionality in the sim. So I think we're almost over that hump. I think hopefully in the future to kind of simmer down, right, for the devs.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. And Mr. Approach, what's going on? Good to see you. MD10. Hello, welcome everyone. We are on with Steve from High Performance Group. And if you weren't here for the beginning, congratulate Steve on the birth of his second child. Was that 2 weeks ago now? That's sort of why we have to pivot and change the schedule around as it relates to our last show. But we're glad to have Steve back on today. Mr. Approach has a question here that kind of segues into the question that you were just answering, but he says, how did you guys get past the helicopter limitations in Microsoft Flight Sim to create the 135 and 145 series?
Yeah, so basically we had to build a flight model outside of Microsoft Flight Sim. So we inject it, into the sim. There's some other developers that use a third-party application. We use a plug-in approach instead to inject our own flight model. It's built on top of the flight model that MFS has, so there's interaction between the two. Whereas some of the other developers, they kind of take over the entire flight model system. And not to say there's a wrong or right way to do it. That's just the method that we take, is to inject a flight model directly into the sim that cooperates alongside the dynamics already in the sim.
Got it. But that flight model is based on, you build that flight model based on code and things in the base sim that inherently contributes, obviously, to how you build that flight model. So whenever they change something in that base sim, even though your flight model is outside of it, it disrupts it. If I understand that correctly. Got it.
Yeah, there's
I'm
sometimes
not all the way I kind of understand this stuff a little bit.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's some aggressive stuff you can do where you can just completely say, "Hey, and we kind of, like I said, we have a hybrid approach. There's some things that we have to inject because it just doesn't exist in the sim. But a lot of times, we're working alongside, things that are in there, especially when it comes to like airflow and, the engine performance, things of that nature. So,
gotcha. That's neat, man. Hats off to you guys, because I know I couldn't do it. I tried to dabble in. It wasn't scenery. Liveries. I dabbled in making liveries. I think it was for the FS Labs, man. And
did you really, Mike? I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. If you go on the FS Labs forum, you probably took it down by now. That thing was so terrible. But I made I think the first JetBlue Mint livery for FS Labs A321. Cool. Granted, I did get help from I think his name was Brian. He's one of the livery makers for the FS Lab series in the community. For those that don't know, he made, because the FS Labs obviously didn't have the 321 yet, they had the 320, but he made a mint livery for the 320, obviously fictional. When the 321 came out, they had all of the European liveries, of course, in typical FS Labs fashion. And I think just one domestic livery. I think it was American, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, all right, man, where's Delta? And obviously you all know, where's my JetBlue? So I'm like, I'm going to take it upon myself to make a livery for the 321, the JetBlue Mint livery. And I used kind of Brian's base sort of dynamics for that and made the first 321 JetBlue Mint livery. And that thing took me days. And we're talking about a livery. Yeah. And we're here talking about actual aircrafts, man. Like my hat goes off to you guys. Not to mention aircrafts in a sim that is still pretty new and continues to break, update after update, or things change update after update, I should say. So kudos to you guys, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm super proud of our team. I mean, especially, like, not to pat myself on the back, but we no prior development experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator, not FSX, XPlane, anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, we just it was kind of like, it was kind of, I'll say, fate. Like I said, we rolled into that H135, and then after that, we hooked up with some other guys in art, and it just all kind of meshed together perfectly, man. So yeah, we got some other stuff on the cooker.
I was getting to that, man. I was definitely getting to that.
No, that's you guys interesting, though. Yeah, that's interesting, though, that you bring that up initially, Mike. It just seems to me, the past year that this platform has been out, it seems as if, and albeit, I'm sure it's getting a little better, but it seems like that dialogue between developer and the Sobo isn't still quite kind of driving. Although, again, I'm sure being incorporated into the marketplace has a plays a big part in that. But I still tend to kind of, I still see, in the community that there's been some, lack of communication there to a certain extent on the part of Asobo. So hopefully that gets better. I mean, it's just like, for example, I know a lot of devs have been screaming about, the ability to tap into Asobo's weather engine to implement any sort of weather radar. That's been a big issue that's came up as of recent. But yeah, hopefully that gets better over time for sure.
Yeah, you don't realize how much you missed that weather radar until you're flying other sims, man.
Oh Lord, yes, man.
I was in I was in P3D the other day. I was flying an add-on, and I was just like, "What the hell is?"
What add-on wasn't Mike? What add-on wasn't Mike? What add-on wasn't Mike?
Listen, man, listen. We talked enough about them. High performance is on. We're gonna talk about high performance thing.
That's funny.
But no. All joking aside, like I'm flying the aircraft, and I'm like, "What the hell? Why am I getting radar returns?" Like, oh, the weather radar. I forgot about this thing. Like, it's the little things, and it's not little because sometimes, obviously, right, like in real life, obviously, it's good to have those returns and be able to understand what the weather is doing in front of you, especially for more complex and sophisticated aircrafts, like the one I was flying. Johnny thought he was going to get me, like the one I was flying. But yeah, you're right, man. It's hopefully we'll get there in 2020 soon for sure.
The good news, though, I don't know if you saw this, Johnny, but they did say they're going to open up weather and terrain to third-party developers, so that'll help out a lot of people.
Nice.
And I think, like I said, I think we're moving in the right direction. I know, I think it was Dean from over at DC Designs. He posted afterwards, after he put his loud message out regarding how kind of upset he was with how the rollout happened for the update, but he did say that York reached out to him directly, that they've had contact and that they are going to work on improving that exact thing. I think right now it's the window of time because they have to test the update, they're planning to put out at the same time that the developers are trying to react to it. And day by day, things are changing in those, those beta patches. So I can only imagine how much work it is on their side too, to also be concerned with everything third-party developers are doing, so yeah, because I mean, man, this is a big marketplace, man. There's a lot of developers out there. Like you really don't notice until you start scrolling down, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of different developers.
Yeah, man. I was like, half of these guys I've never even heard of. Like, where did these guys come from? I think it's awesome because it creates parity across the flight sim community. And I've said this over and over again. I know, like, there's some differences of opinions as it relates to how many Airbuses you actually need in a flight sim, right?
Well, we're not even getting to that.
it's not just Airbuses. You could point to probably some other products and some other things, and you could be like, man, how many times do we need a developer to make this? But each developer brings their own sort of unique, development and ideas to the way they portray the way they portray the Airbus. And every developer, every product is kind of has its own uniqueness. Some do things better than others that you're not able to enjoy in one Airbus that you fly, but you can enjoy it in the other one. So I don't know. I think there's room for it, and I think it's okay. I know it's frustrating at times, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I love man. You're just saying that because it's Airbus.
Well, rookie, man, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by Sunday. Welcome. Oh man, it's funny.
Sorry,
I don't know.
Steve,
what do you think, Steve? What do you think?
Man, I love the competition, dude. Like, because again, like I just said a few moments ago, we were simmers before we were developers. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So we're still fans of the sim. I'm a huge fan of the sim. I buy almost every add-on aircraft that comes out.
I remember you said that last time. Yeah.
Yeah. I have that tough decision this week of, man, am I getting the Mad Dog or am I getting the BAE? Am I going to do both? I won't tell you what I end up doing. Yeah. I'll just say my wallet was hurt. But man, but even so you're talking about the Airbus. So you've got like the Phoenix, you've got the fly-by-wire guys, you've got the stock Asobo one. I think FS Labs said they were going to come as well sometimes.
Yeah,
or was that calling them in
10 years? But yeah.
But yeah, even like the arrows, Carinado did an arrow and Just Flight did an arrow, and like you said, Mike, they were the development style is completely different. Carinado goes
different.
very much for, hey, this is going to work. It's mostly stock stuff, but it's going to be gorgeous, and Just Flight, I love both aircraft, so it's not a ding on either one. Just Flight's quality in terms of like visuals was a little bit lower, but their system depth was so much further, so and somewhere out there's a flight simmer who wants something more study level, and there's one who's like, I just want the eye candy, so I think it's good to have the multiple options, for different simmers. And even, just as a consumer, as a simmer, competition is always going to make the product better because everyone's fighting for your dollar. So if somebody hears, oh, XYZ team is doing the same aircraft, they're just going to push their product even further to try to compete with that. So it only benefits us. The only people it hurts are people like me who buy everything that comes out. But other than that, I mean, I like it. I like the competition. And there's I like to call it like there's a new wave of developers coming in, like ourselves. They got the Got Friends team is another one that I could think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Like there's this new wave coming in. Like we're all collaborative. Like we all have Discord groups, messages with each other. We talk, kickback ideas and things like that. So I think it's cool. It's a good thing that there's more developers. It's a great thing.
No, that's really cool.
You hear that, Johnny?
It's. Am I cutting out?
No, I said, did you hear that, Johnny? No, you're not cutting out. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're talking about.
Make sure you heard that.
What do you mean? Like you and your pettiness about the Airbus?
I mean, next time you tell me, hey man, another Airbus in here.
Hey man, hey. Okay, so when we see the 7, I'm gonna come back and be like, hey, Mike. Come on, man. We gotta do. But although, to Steve's point, though, I mean that absolutely does drive competition. So I mean, definitely no one's arguing that. And I for one am just happy to see more developers in the community, period. Because, again, rewind the clock back 3-4 years ago, the community was on life support, not gonna lie. Well, we were on life support for sure. I mean, we had like XPlane and then MP3D, and then you kind of had the old farts like myself just kind of stuck in our ways, and there was really no movement up until this company called the Subo drops 2020 and just completely shakes up the industry. So I mean, I agree with you. I think it's awesome, and to Steve's point as well. It will make you broke. Not gonna lie, it will hurt your wallet for sure, man. Because it's just like two releases during the week, and the week's not over. I mean, it just started. We got one more coming.
If that schedule stays, if that schedule stays intact, one more coming, man.
So, one more.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Hey, man, I love it, though, because, man, think about all the planes still from P3D, XPlane, FSX that you still want that haven't come over yet. And there's a lot of great developers from those other series that haven't shown up in MFS yet. And I'm like, what are you guys waiting on? Like, are they in the background, kind of, building up their ports or what? Because, man, I won't name them because I won't put anybody on blast, but there are some guys who I'm definitely waiting for. We don't have enough biz jets, man. We need more biz jets.
There you go. Now you're pulling on Johnny's heartstrings.
we have so many GA aircraft. Like I love them because they're so fun to fly. Especially me. I live in Florida, so I'm always flying around Florida
all the time. Yeah.
There's so many short hops you can make that are just great scenic views, but I need more biz jets, man, because I don't always want to fly an airliner. I don't. Man.
Absolutely.
You're spot on, man. Hopefully we start seeing those.
I think they're coming though. I mean, it's I'll tell you what, I was really surprised when I found out our previous guest, Mark from Fly Sim, where again he was a very prominent developer for P3D, and for years, he's put out, top quality, GA aircraft and biz jets as well. And so I think over time, we'll start seeing developers kind of really, I guess, in a for lack of better words, stretch their developmental wings into 2020, and we start seeing more. We start seeing more products, and I mean, no one's saying P3D is going to die. I think we've beat that horse to its dead as well. But there's definitely a market to be had in 2020, and I mean, it's just it's a really nice platform. Even the physics modeling, in my opinion, seems to be a lot better. And now I was in that 414 not too long ago, and it's getting better. It's getting better for sure.
Yeah, and I think too, once more people adopt that new prop technology, like that's going to make such a big difference in just how
Game changer.
aircraft feel. Yeah, so you could already feel it, in some of these aircraft that have already adopted it. Is such such a different experience. So
game changer, absolutely. I tell you guys another aspect to kind of look at as well. I got a 7-year-old now actually, and I walked in on one day, or get their little Xboxes or whatever. Walked in on one day, and I be darned, he's playing 2020 on a Series S, not an X, an S, and it looks good. Yeah. It looks good. That's the insane part about it. So I mean, it's just we've just opened the floodgates, and into this market. So I think it's just a matter of time, Steve, until we see those biz jets we're looking for.
Oh, yeah. I think Karen already said they're going to port every single thing that they've ever done over. So I mean, wow, the possibilities are endless. I know some of the other, like I think it was Aerosoft has said that like their development stuff for MFS was the biggest they had ever seen over their lifetime of other products. So I mean,
really,
the money's there. Yeah, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like it was that CRJ was like the most successful product.
Oh my goodness!
Like for flight.
That's shocking. Wow. I wonder if that had anything to do with. I think that was technically the first official airliner.
Yeah.
In the sim. I mean, obviously we had Fly by Wire doing their thing for a while, but I think the first sort of paid add-on.
You might be right, because I don't remember the DC-6 when those two came out, but it would be one of those two, I'm sure.
Yeah, or at least one that folks would, kind of relate to more.
Yeah, I think it definitely was like the first big study level thing. For sure,
exactly, right? Exactly. That's pretty cool, man, because again, we talk about developers and kind of where they are and as it relates to categories and classifications of their talent and what what kind of products they put out and whatnot. So I'm happy for Aerosoft. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I think Ahsoka at one point said that it's either 2 or 3 million players that they've said that they had at least activated.
Yeah, I did see that.
I mean, so it's got to be it's a huge market, huge market.
You know what kind of statistics I'd like to see? Mr. Protest, first of all, we got 2. Don't forget. Oh, yeah, Milvis is dropping the
310. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the 310 is beautiful.
And that,
something to buy that.
You put up there the other day, Johnny, that PC-12. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, from Coronado.
Yeah, that thing looks. Whew. So we'll see.
It's nuts. And then there's a Lear coming as well. Lear 3.5 coming.
Yeah, I did see that.
Is that Lionheart, the Lear fan? Yeah.
I think it's Fly Somewhere. Mark's doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Coming down the pipeline.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Although I'm curious, Steve, and you know what? You're just a person that asked this question. So we're starting to see more consoles, right, being utilized as a flight sim rig. In terms of from a compatibility perspective, how difficult is it to get your product over to where it's actually usable for Xbox user or console user?
Yeah, so I can only speak high level because we haven't even started the process yet for porting to Xbox, but we have looked into like what the requirements are. They just lifted one of the big ones that was kind of a roadblock for us, which was they weren't allowing the compiling of WASM on the Xbox, but they're lifting that. I think if they haven't already, they plan to lift that kind of roadblock out the way. So that'd be huge. I think that was one that was even impacting like the DC-6, if I'm correct. Like there's a because a lot of devs they use that. I don't want to say a shortcut, but as a way around the limitations of the sim. You could just build it in that and inject it in. But so you've got that, and then it's just their certification process, which I know even for the standard marketplace is kind of a pain in the butt. And I understand why they do it is because they have to protect everybody. You have a lot of people
absolutely
only load up the sim, they buy their aircraft they want. They're not as computer savvy. They're not these technical people that have dozens of hours to troubleshoot their sim when it starts crashing the desktop. So they're trying to be considerate of that. Like they want to eliminate any possibility for crashy desktops and things like that. So I know like some other dev teams I saw where it was like, oh, the memory footprint of your aircraft is too big for the Xbox. You got to scale it back. Whereas on PC, we don't have to worry about that because we always say, well, the user can change their settings. If it's too big of a memory footprint or it's hitting their GPU too hard, then drop your settings down. But on an Xbox, you don't have that option.
There's no option.
Yeah, so I think like those will be the biggest obstacles, is just getting through whatever their certification process is, and then just
Mm-hmm.
looking at the actual code and seeing. But there's some sophisticated aircraft out there. I think the CRJ is compatible with Xbox now.
Really interesting.
I feel like it is. I know the F-35 is on Xbox, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not impossible. It's just, sitting down and actually doing it. But for us, we haven't yet, because we want to get the product to 1.0 first. That way, we're not going back and forth with every patch. Like, hey, what do we need to fix this time? Let's get to what we think is a final build, and then shoot that over to them, and then we'll get their feedback and proceed from there. But we want to be on Xbox, badly. We think it's kind of like helicopters with a controller would be perfect. I feel like
yeah, it's much easier than some of these other things that you'd have to try to fly on a controller with a controller. Yeah, that's. I think it's cool, because I think one of the other things, and I'd love to see a study. I know it's early; it's only been 2 years, but like how many people have enrolled in sort of like flight training, or at least booked a discovery flight because of FS 2020? I think that would be super cool to see. Obviously we hear, I feel like weekly in the news, right, that we've got airlines canceling routes this summer and whatnot. Obviously, one is fuel costs, but also they just don't have the pilots, right?
Yeah.
We had Big Earn on a couple weeks ago that said the same thing. I mean, I feel like, if you guys follow him, almost every other week he's at some sort of recruiting event trying to get pilots. So it's like, obviously FSX and some of these other sims really allowed other folks to sort of kind of, the past crowd, if you will, get into flight training and pursue aviation as a career. I'm interested to see like how 2020 now takes that to the next level for the next generation, and I think it's already starting to do so.
Yeah, I would love for Asobo to put together some type of like apprenticeship or mentor program for something like that. Like it seems like it's just I don't know who kind of embodies that for the US. I don't know if it's the FFA or the FAA that would really put forward funds to like try to recruit people in, but like there's got to be some type of school, some type of program that they could link into to get something going.
AOPA will probably be the best bet.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Like there's something out there. There's an opportunity there for sure. Like get these people who are flying the sim into the pilot seat for real, right?
Yeah. I think we're even seeing like far more now, flight sim being incorporated in just overall flight training. Like I know it's been there in the past. And I don't want to say it was poo-poo, like that wasn't the notion at all, but it certainly wasn't highly spoken about or put at the forefront of any sort of advertising or any sort of conversation. And now it's like everywhere, right? Especially for 2020. It's like, hey, let's go on the sim and practice some approaches, right? And save some money and some fuel by practicing that stuff in the sim before you actually go out and do it at the airfield or in the air. So 2020 is contributing a lot to that, and I think it's only scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
Scratching the surface.
Absolutely. Although, we've been talking a lot about 2020 lately, and let's not forget XPlane 12 is right around the corner as well. And so Lord knows, what Austin.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, heck, that's actually brings up a good point, Steve. Like for you guys, and obviously, I don't know if you guys have given any thought to this. Have you guys thought about exploring other sims? And I know sort of the future we keep saying is 2020, and a lot of developers are sort of moving that way, and they're stopping developing for P3D and FSX and some of these other sims out there. What about like an XPlane 12? Have you guys thought about developing your products for that at all?
We have, but the thoughts have not been that we
materialized.
Want to do it. Well, it has been that we want to do it. Yeah, you put me on the spot. No, we're fans of flight sim in general. You know what it is, but the thing is, it's kind of like the same. It's the same argument we had when we had to do the H145 after doing the H135. Like it requires a certain amount of resources to develop these aircraft the way that you want to, and without the market being in XPlane, we just couldn't do it. We wouldn't. There's no way we could. Our team. I mean, if you think about it, we've spent over a year already on the H145 project. Spending 1 year to 2 years on XPlane for what might be, I'm just throwing a number out there. If they're like 2/10 of the size of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then you have to take 1/10 of that for people who would actually
for
buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if they have a resurgence, I look at their Steam charts pretty often to kind of see how they are against Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they're far behind right now. But if they have a resurgence to where they're neck and neck, our team would absolutely look at it. We've talked about DCS World. It's just that we're only a small team of 4, so we have to pick our projects very diligently. Sure. We have to pretty much guarantee, like, hey, this is going to keep the lights on. If we move forward with this, so we can't really afford to move over into a platform that might not have the ROI for us. You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because, and then I think this sort of gets into the whole dynamics of fact versus fiction, because if folks are following sort of the community and following posts and following forums, it's all like FS 2020 is a video game, and it's not for pilots, and it's not for folks that take aviation seriously, and XPlane isn't going anywhere, and XPlane 12 will be the future, and P3D isn't going anywhere, and you go on and on and on. But I think at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. Like, you just mentioned you looked at the Steam charts, and it's through various other, reporting metrics like your Navigraph survey that's done every year, where it's clearly showing that the trend is moving towards FS 2020. Now, you still have folks that fly all of them, like all of us here. And I think, true aviation fans and avid aviators like ourselves and the rest of the community here will continue to have all the sims, right? Because there's certain things that you can get from one sim that you can't necessarily get from the other. And I think it's going to be that way for some time to come. But if you talk about folks that are just now getting into flight sim, and I sometimes see those posts as well, like, which sim should I buy? 99.9% of them are going to 2020. So I think that's something definitely to keep in mind too when we talk about, hey, what does the future of flight sim look like?
Yeah. And for me, it goes back to, like we were saying about aircraft earlier. I want XPlane 12 to be successful. Like, I want them to come out with some killer feature that forces Asobo to, up their ante
even more.
Yeah. So, it's great if all those products can coexist. I mean, even obviously the lights are still on over there, so they have enough players that are, bringing enough revenue for them to stay in business. So, hey, that's great. The competing products that, like you said, where none of us are probably going to be exclusive to any one, where we all bounce around between them all the time anyway. So the only thing I did have to uninstall DCS World, though, because I was spending way too much time in it. So I can't go back. I just can't. It's got to stay off my desktop, man.
Oh man, I don't blame you. It comes to a point where it's like, man, I need some more hard drive space. It's getting ridiculous.
Man, no, bump that. You need some more desk space between the Warthog, the T, my joystick here, the Honeycomb, the Bravo, and then they messed around and dropped the H64. It was just a wrap, man. I think I got maybe 2 hours in that thing. I ran out of that space. So I was right there with you, Steve. I think it's on its way off my hard drive as well.
I had to. I don't know. There will be something that's going to make me go back to it, but for now, I'm like, all right, I got the Super Hornet down packed. I'm not touching anything else. Like, I'm done.
And Charlie made a really good point there, though. Competition is good for a community. Absolutely, man.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Although, and I was just kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, Steve, but I don't know too many developers that, cross over platforms. I think we had one developer on before, and we asked him, and he just straight like, no. So, I mean, I get it. And Mike, you think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, I totally get it. I mean, I couldn't imagine, going from just one platform to a completely different other, the amount of man hours, and Lord, heaven forbid, version control, trying to get all that together. Right. So it's that'll be a tall order for sure.
I see, like scenery developers, we're certainly seeing that. They were one of the first to, cross over. I mean, like Flightbeam had, I think, Denver out the week 2020 launch. So we're certainly seeing that from a scenery developer standpoint. But for aircrafts, to your point, especially the more complicated aircrafts like PMDG, we're only just now getting that 737. Hopefully, next week. And they've been working on that thing with Asobo since 2019. So it just goes to show you, man, it's hard. It is hard.
It's a lot.
So. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Steve, I did want to ask you another question. Has anyone approached you about you and your team about doing any sort of a fixed wing project?
Yes and no. So no publisher, like not a Orbix or an Aerosoft, but we've had other people from the community approach us in the past about doing fixed wing. We've even had a couple of false starts with some things like, hey, we have some resources here because Dave is our coder. He's a master guru with anything with codes. So I mean, he's just awesome. So we had a couple ideas in the past, like, hey, let's kind of have maybe a B team or a branch off team that does some fixed wing stuff, like in terms of modeling, and we'll just hop in at the end to put the system death in. But they all kind of like flat out at some point, like, that's the other thing, man. There's a lot of, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. Think of all the projects that were announced that you haven't heard us slick about, since they were
a mumbling word.
Yeah. And then some people are polite enough to say, yeah, we canceled this, but I mean, yeah, man, even people who just all they do is keep together like a mod, even those people fall out sometimes. They're like, yeah, I just can't. It's too much
work. Just a utility to move jetways and people on and off.
Oh, Lord, here goes oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, like,
there can't be an episode yet that we hadn't just talked. And, let's just be transparent. I mean, this is a CTP. We're talking about GSX. That's what we're talking about. Already know, bro. We get it's coming, man. It's coming. Coming, man. Some slack.
This thing from 2019, like they showed us models and texture work, and I think I even remember seeing the thing actually working in the sim. Obviously, right? You all know, like that's magic behind the scenes, right? That's behind the scenes curtain work. Obviously, them showing you that doesn't mean that the code is anywhere near ready. But we're going on 2 years, guys, and now we've got PMDG coming out, and we still got to call ATC to boost the jetway, and ATC to bring the fuel truck, and ATC to bring the back. Like that's so like that dynamic is so weird. It just ruins the immersion. I'm just saying. So
did you see that?
I'm gonna tell you guys this. This is just a little public service announcement. Do not call ATC asking them for a jetway. Just don't do it if you call the number. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Gosh.
But I mean, I can, I understand your frustrations, Mike. However, I do understand like what they were able to accomplish in P3D, and you said a few moments ago is just pure magic. Nothing what's going on with GSX has anything to do with P3D.
But that's kind of what makes it so mind-boggling, because it took, like you said, magic for them to do anything like GSX and P3D. Like to your point, P3D was never engineered to do anything remotely like that. And then now you have FS 2020 where you pretty much got things a little bit more wide open, probably much more wide open to be able to do things like that. And we still haven't seen it. Shout out to, I forgot who it is, man. Charlie can keep me honest there in the chat, but they created that add-on for 2020 that actually populates in the toolbar itself, where you can actually.
I wish I would have known that earlier, Mike.
I do toolbar.
Man.
Yes, there you go, pushback toolbar. But it's more than just a pushback. Like they operate the jetways for you. They got the catering and the baggage trucks, and you can actually, just like better pushback in XPlane or just like GSX and P3D, you can tell them where you want the plane. And it's freeware. That's freaking phenomenal. And again, it kind of goes back to how the community continues to keep and breathe new life into flight sim. But yeah, man, like GSX, where you at? You guys need help? I'll come help. I will come help. I don't know nothing about that stuff, but I'll figure it out and I'll come help. But pardon
Steve for ignorance, man. What were you saying, bro?
Hey, no,
Steve, you mentioned something about the 737.
I want GSX too, man. But I was saying the 737. Did you see they have their own custom pushback in there?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh yes, I did see that. And they have their own service trucks as well.
Oh,
which they have in P3D, I'm pretty sure. Similar to,
they got it in P3D as well.
You can do the water and the fuel truck, but it's not the same, man. It's like it gives you something for sure,
man. It's like GSX hits different. I'm sorry,
it hits different. Like, you get to see your passengers boarding. You've got the ambiance of them, and it's just like I'll tell you, a lot of times in P3D, I set stuff up early and then make the passengers board and just sit and watch. Cause like it just brings together that I know I'm weird. It just brings together the entire immersion and
how's your pilot suit, Mike? How's your
experience,
uniform?
man. The boots are right there polished, dude. It just brings together that entire immersion and that entire experience. And 2020 is right for that. Like,
no, I'm with you, man.
I hope you guys, had the chance to pick up KBOS Boston from Fly Tampa. Yes. They've got people walking around in the terminal.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's nuts. And it's not like stuttering or doing weird things. It's actually like real, real to life people walking around. So 2020 is definitely there. Like the foundation is there. I'm just, again, I'm wondering GSX, what's going on? FS Dream Team, I should say, what's going on?
I think they're coming because they put out something kind of like an interim type thing early on when the sim came out, like some type of pushback program or something.
GSX?
FS Dream Team, but didn't it require like an add-on, like it was an external application or something?
Didn't Aladdin VFR do something like that? Or no, it was Gates. It was Gates for, I think.
Aladdin VFR did some Gates stuff.
Yeah, they did that AREX.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I don't know of anyone that did any sort of
because they've been kind of quiet, man. Dream Team's been
quiet
in the background,
bro. It was a mouse.
So it was FS2 crew Pushback Express. So it was kind of like a
GSA. Yes, I forgot. Yeah. FS2 crew. They've been.
That's probably the limitation right now is they probably don't want to do like some type of external application. I'm guessing because it seemed like there's a lot of people who are doing different little things. Like there's another company that did those the different services where they have the animated person coming out the catering truck and everything now.
Yeah.
So there's like little pockets of these things, but like you said, want it all in one package.
Yeah, we want it all in one package, and it again goes to show you that means it's doable. People are out there doing it. Freeware developers are out there doing it.
There has to be something. Maybe, and I'm not. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here, but there has to be something that they're waiting on, something in the background that perhaps they don't have access to at the moment. And again, I'm just spitballing. I don't freaking know, but there just has to be something. But I know for sure when it does drop, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to rock the industry.
Game changer, because that's really what's going to pull that entire immersive airliner experience, I should say, together.
Yeah,
and going back to the 145 though, I'll tell you what rocked the industry. The ability to be able to fly a helicopter for me not to crash it. That was groundbreaking.
Rock the industry.
Man, I had to show
you guys
Johnny
did an amazing job.
I'm sorry, Johnny had to show me how to fly that thing, bro. I was going backwards when I was trying to go forwards, and it was a mess. But that's
man, you got to put in arcade mode, bro. You got to put in arcade mode.
I see you got the stick, so it should be nice for you, man.
Yeah, I know it was nice. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, it takes, like I tell everyone, it's easy to kind of like pick up really quick and just get in the air, but if you spend the time to go through the manual, it might take an hour to get all the bindings set up correctly and everything. But once, just think of DCS World, you do that already in DCS. You set up everything to be comfortable. Yeah. Once you do that, man, it's a whole nother experience. Like I'll get in, we do group flights a few times a week, and I'll hop in sometimes, and I'll be watching someone on the Discord stream. We're like, why don't you have this activated? Why you don't have this? And I'm like, I didn't even know there was a binding for that. I'm like, yeah, because you can get in and fly right away, but there's so much hidden depth in the systems there.
Wow.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome. So you get in and do group flights with the community.
Oh yeah, we do every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Usually like on average 10 maybe, during the week, and then the group ones on the weekend we always have like 20 plus people.
I'm gonna have to look at that, man. Like that's awesome. We don't have developers to develop something. Release the product. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, man, we really focused on the community early up front, because when we did the H135, man, we were putting out daily updates for that. So best way to get feedback, like, hey, come to the Discord server, we ping you, let you know the updates out, tell us what's broken, tell us what you want fixed, give us feedback, because we have probably, I'll say, dozens of pilots on the Discord that work with us on this stuff. So yeah, it's been a good time, man. It's been a good time.
That's awesome.
Wow. I'll say for sure, because I'm assigned to you guys' Discord, and man, that thing is hot. I'm constantly getting notifications. So I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome to see that level of communication, though. I mean, because again, I mean, every update I've downloaded, I mean, it's just been right. I mean, it's just been it's been getting even better, and we're definitely excited for you guys, especially with this new release. I had some experience offshore myself, and to see that. To actually be able to land on an oil platform, I mean, it's just
nuts.
In 2020, man, it's nuts.
They kudos to Sobel. They've made such a great platform. Like I love airliners because I like the challenge of it. Like obviously every new aircraft, the first thing you want to do is load up your favorite ILS approach. You want to go and make sure it works the way you expect. Yeah. So like I love that when you're like, okay, this works how I want it to. But the sim is so made for like gawking at the scenery, to be completely honest. Like, so a helicopter is perfect for flying low. I mean, you do that in GA too, but you just find yourself like, I mean, do this challenge yourself. Go look at Europe with the POI little button on in the world map, and just look at how many. They have so much more over there than we have in the United States. It's crazy, but like when you fly a helicopter there, you see so much when you're doing like these little flights around the area.
Wow.
That's true.
And educational as well. I mean, I tell you what, man, all we had was a Geo Safari back in the day. I was in school. So just to be able to load up the sim, and I mean, just in sightsee and see all the things that, you're reading in books, actually, virtually see it there. And Lord help you if you had VR. I mean, it'd just be a whole nother experience. I mean, it's something different. It's just something different for sure.
Yeah, it definitely helps, man. Like I've said before I go to any new airport, I fly it in the sim first, and just being able to visualize that approach before you do it, or that landmark before you report over it, and do it in the sim first before having to go out and actually doing the real world helps a ton. I'll tell you guys a quick story. It was Montgomery Gibbs. When did I go? February? I don't remember now, but never been down there. Wanted to do it in the sim first. I was on Pilot Edge, and can I tell you, I was lining up for what you call it? What field is that again? Where they shot Top Gun?
Miramar.
Miramar. Yeah. I was lining up for Miramar, yo. No lie.
No.
Could you imagine if I went out there and did that? I'd have been so
been on a
trouble.
YouTube video for real, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. Call the number, right? And I read later on like that's not uncommon. People do it all the time.
Oh, really? That's funny.
They're almost the sort of the way the airport's positioned and
the orientation,
layout, the orientation of the runways. They're almost spot on, and they're right next to each other. The only difference is obviously Miramar is a little bit bigger, but yeah, I was in the sim. I was getting ready. I'm like, I'm going to enter, right downwind, and I'm getting ready to go. And I'm like, this is not the airport. This is not the airport. I had to get out and actually, and I'm like, did the flight a week later in real life, and I'm like, yeah, I see how easy this is. In my mind, like how easily I could have done this out there. So. Going back to your point, Johnny, about it being educational for real world purposes as well, man. Like it could save your bacon and just
save your ticket, man.
Save your ticket, exactly. Your ability to just familiarize yourself with airspaces and landmarks and procedures, and it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's real cool.
Absolutely, man. You do pattern work now, and I remember, FS9, FXX back in the day. Even with FXX, you kind of struggled, especially. I know in Phoenix where I was training, they had a Bravo transition, and there are certain landmarks you can use to kind of align yourself with the corridor, and it's hard to see. And
can't do that.
It's like blurry, But 2020 is like boom. You can see this building. Yeah. You see something that's that's shaped like the Walmart there, and it's. I mean, it's just mind blowing what you can do. So pilots nowadays, there's just no excuse. Absolutely no excuse.
Yeah, that's true. Man, Steve. So if I'm not mistaken, I think you had something you wanted to share.
Yeah, I could go over just the update that we did this weekend.
Did you want to share your screen as well, or was it just something you were just
you had some videos, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought you had some videos you wanted to pull up.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's do that. We add it to the stream there.
Shout out to Mike for the segue.
You try to fire the producer, dude. I'm here trying to make things work.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Wow. So,
sorry. That's my bad.
Oh, okay.
You have control. Okay. Your controls.
Yeah. So this is the H145 luxury variant. So this is in our base pack. All that we're showing off here is just we got this custom GPU there, so you can see that down on the tarmac. You see the rain cover that we've got on that actually is lined up with the weather.
Wow. Yeah.
So we've got the safety tie down. So that was a new thing that we did. It was kind of, I don't think a lot of people were expecting us to put out another big patch for the base pack, but as we make improvements to the other side of the coin with the action pack, we're like, hey, we'll backport whatever we can to the base pack as well. So we've got these safety patches now. It's just showing off a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
So what this is showing in this screenshot.
Wow.
Thank you.
Goodness.
Yeah, and we're on Bowen's turf here at Renton, but that's okay. But
man, be all right, man. Flex on Bowen a little bit, be all right.
We used to have just a text menu for kind of configuring the passengers and co-pilot and all that, but we did a visual UI update, so now you can actually toggle on the passengers, open the doors and all that via this EFB tablet. So I think there's some other devs who kind of do similar things as well, but we just want to make it cleaner. Obviously, flight sim is a multinational hobby, right? So there's people who,
for sure,
text-wise probably wouldn't even be able to read what some of this stuff is there, or you can't easily translate it off the sim. But anybody can look at this and say, okay, I'm clicking this and something's going to happen, right? And then, so we've got these custom pilots now. So that's who this is. I call him Bruce Willis. That's who I call him, but
man, like Bruce. Just like him, bro.
Yeah, so we've got the custom pilot there. There's also I don't know if it was going to show here. There's also a pilot for yourself. So let me see if this is going to come over. So you can see my feet right there. And what we did for this, so from external view, you'll still be able to see the full body. But on the internal view, it has no head. So if I'm playing in 2D mode, I can still have my body below me, and I can still be kind of immersed in that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same for VR. I've got a body if I look down. So yeah, so very proud of that. And then the last thing that we did to the base pack was just that we added these passengers in the rear. So let me kick back there. So
that's
this
nuts.
guy, that's Jeff Bezos over in the right hand side. Yeah, so we, again, just some quality of life updates there. And then
we don't have any. Do we have any products today that have passengers in 2020? I don't think so.
There's a few.
There's a couple, yeah,
that have passengers moving like that, like similar to. I'm not talking about like stick figure passengers or like texture based passengers. I'm talking about actual moving dynamic passengers, like we have dynamic pilots and co-pilots.
Man, I'm really not sure.
I don't think so, man.
Question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know every add-on out there, but I don't think so. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a recent release. We didn't call no names, but he does have some kind of movement in the flight deck. But no, nothing like this. You don't have no Jeff Bezos sitting there kind of
I'm saying, leg
his,
all up, tablet on
whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And we try to do that because we know so many people and that was again when we envisioned the H145 is let's give people roles. So it kind of happened naturally. I don't know if either of you have messed around with Neofly at all, but Neofly has all these great missions, and they've got a distinction between luxury missions and just regular passenger missions. So that kind of came in and thought all right, well, we want a civilian model because it has more seats, but a luxury model would pay more per seat. And then military, we were like, let's put that one out there and hope that someone kind of picks it up and figures out something to do with it, because it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't belong in flight sim, but it doesn't have that big of a function, right? There's a lot of military aircraft, but you're only flying them for recreation in the sim. If you see the post on Facebook, if you want military aircraft, go to DCS. World, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one, it was more let somebody pick it up. Maybe they'll come up with some mission ideas for it. But we did come up with some cool things for people to make cinematic movies and things like that with the explosions and the actual weapons that work, damaging the terrain. So that's kind of where that came about. But
gotcha.
Wow.
This next thing, we used to have equipment configurations that you have to do kind of in a livery template. You have to go in there, put a 0 or 1. Hey, this is enabled or not enabled. But now we put that all on this the tablet. So here is where people can come through, They can select the different equipment that they want on the, on the H145. So sometimes there's optional stuff like skid settings, snow skis.
Is that dynamic? Like you changes right away?
Yeah, right away.
Oh, wow.
And it's built so like right there, you can see there's that high intensity searchlight that's only on the HIMS and the search or the SAR variant. But if I was in that variant, I would have that option there where I could select it, deselect it, whatever. So it just helps for people to really quickly kind of configure those options on the go. These are more like preferences. Wow. So like, do you want to see your temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, pounds or kilograms? Sure. Do I want the time to be displayed as the sim time or my actual time? Things of that nature. And then we have an option here too for people to switch back to the default Asobo pilots if they want to. Not everybody likes the customized pilots, but and then I think that might be it for this here. That's it for the base pack. So this is the HIMS variant. Wow. This particular livery is for New Zealand, but I didn't have any other US liveries here yet. So again, we have the custom pilots set up for the liveries. Their actual uniforms are correct to the region or to the agency that runs that. Here you kind of see a little bit of this.
Cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. A little bit of the med interior there. That's not me. People keep asking, but it's not, that guy does not represent me at all. Just want to put that out there.
I can see how they thought that.
Yeah, people think it's like a little Easter egg. I'm like, it's not an Easter egg. I don't know why our team made this guy, but they made him. But I like him. But yeah, so we again the rear back here. A lot of people they'll say, well, hey, my agency doesn't use it this way, or my agency has different equipment. Obviously, you're not going to be able to fit a agency all in one. It's even the same as like airliners. They have the different cabin configurations. So we just said, let's put in the most accurate stuff for the different references that we have available. And I think as a conglomerate altogether, they make up a pretty good, realistic, HIMS cabin here. So yeah, so all these guys are animated. You can use that same configuration page here. Actually, if you skip back, so like here, what it is showing is the stretcher. So you can put a patient on there by just clicking on it. Same with the outside guy in the rear.
Holy
There's a button there too.
Wait, you could put a patient. Can you go? Yeah. Can you show that?
I think the video will show it here. Yeah, so he's back there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you're doing like those, again, we have the missions that we've curated ourselves inside of the tablet, which you'll see here.
NeoFly.
Yeah, so it's the best of both worlds. So somebody could fly NeoFly, take the missions that they have, get to the site and say, okay, let me drop my winch now. That's down. Let me bring the patient up. I put that in, and they can still role play it, pretty seamlessly there. And some of these functions are even automated. We're going to have a trigger in future updates to let people manually kind of drop the winch down and bring it up. But yeah. So this last thing here, the maps is where our missions live at currently. So I'm circling through that. Sorry, I lost my.
You guys do some work on the tablet. It looks refined too.
Yeah, we did lots of work here. So right now we've got like these 5 sample missions. Kind of the idea behind this is that we want to build out kind of a core of like, hey, here's a script for a mission, and then let the community go out and they can change the coordinates. If they want to kind of introduce some unique scenery, they can talk to our team about, hey, let's work on some mission packs together. But it's fully out there right now where the community can take these and start adding them to the local area. But if we wanted to curate additional like scenarios, we could do that as well with the community. So just reach out to us if you think you have something that the greater community overall would love.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You guys hear that? Definitely reach out and provide some ideas to Hype Performance. I think this is phenomenal. Like again, we talk about 2020 and just opening doors for just additional functionality and just different dynamics that you're just not able to see in other platforms today. And you guys are taking full advantage of that. That is so cool.
Absolutely.
Now, what you're saying here, we have a, and I hope more people, like I said, I love other aircraft, so I hope some other devs kind of see this and implement this as well. But we have this function that will actually do a walk around of the aircraft. So we'll come into this mission menu, hit trigger, trigger HIMS to do the walk around, and you can see in the top right-hand corner how the script is running up there. So that initialize, and then can I fast forward by just hitting right here? You can see this gentleman. See that? He just spawned over there on the other side, but he'll start walking around. So if I had the Did I have the safety patches on this one? I think I turned them on later, but he's basically simulating doing the walk around the aircraft.
That's cool.
Yeah, and this was completely unique. Like I never saw anyone doing something like this.
No. Could you imagine you sitting in your cockpit, right? You prepping the 7-3 or the Airbus or whatever it is, and you're down in the McDo and you look up and you see a FO outside doing a walk around. Like that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I was telling the team today, like I was just looking at all the screenshots that were being shared. I'm like, man, this is. Oh yeah, he'll open up and he'll get in there. We're still looking at animations to do a proper walk-in, but for the most part, it's there now. But
yeah, it's cool.
We were looking at the screenshots today, and you're like, man, the presence, and it's like you were saying, Mike, the presence of humans in the sim just adds this whole nother level of immersion when you kind of look at it. It's like I'm not just flying this plane model. I'm an actual person in here now. Is what I feel like. You know, when I look at my feed, I look around, I see the crew personnel. Like we're on a real mission, right?
Exactly.
And then the last thing that we have here is just kind of the mission itself. So this is a test mission just for hoisting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can get this. So the aircraft's in the hover mode. I forgot to take the safety patches off, is why the rotor is blurred there. But you can see the guy starting the hoist down. He'll get to the ground and he'll start working on whatever patient, victim, whatever you want to call it, is down there on the ground. So he's down there now, getting them all patched up. I can go off and fly, do whatever. If I wanted to do some pattern work or something, I could do that. And he'll continue working on it. And then when I come back in, I just go back into a hover and then he'll attach himself to the winch and come right back up.
Oh, that's crazy. Are you kidding me?
Holy cow. Man, this is nuts.
Let me get a good side of it here. I think it's right here. Did I hit that? Sorry, it's hard for me to see. It's minimized. That is in free flight. Yeah, I'm trying to look at this right-hand side. It tells me what step of it is in, but I'm not seeing the video footage here. It's somewhere. Okay, well, anyway, you would have saw the reverse and or the animation in reverse of the person coming back up the winch. But yeah, man, so we're, like I said, we built the foundation of it currently right now. We're going to keep building this out, over time.
Absolutely.
Obviously, as we go into the other variants, those are going to have their own kind of unique stuff. The firefighting variant, the offshore type stuff. We just got to figure out the right missions to go with those different ones. But we've got more ideas. We want to make this. It's all about just giving people a reason to fly. Like we all love the sim. We all fly probably dozens of hours a month. Safely, I'll say dozens of hours a month. But I don't know if you guys are like me, but you started to develop like these routes that you just love, and you end up flying those same routes all the time. So you kind of need something that pushes you to move outside of your comfort zone, right? So that's what we're hoping this does, is just give people more reason to fly.
You guys are on the right track, man. That's for sure. Drew Stone, welcome, man. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Those just getting in, we have been on with Steve from Hype Performance Group, walking us through the newly released variant, the HEMS of the 145 series, and some of the really key and functional updates done to this already amazing product, and much more to come. He says much more to come. So he also mentioned if you guys have ideas for missions, definitely reach out to them. High Performance Group, obviously you guys can find them on, I believe you guys have obviously Discord. You guys have your Instagram as well. As always, we'll put all of the information for our guests inside the description of our podcast, as well as the live show once the recording is all done. But many different avenues, many different ways to get in touch with Steve and the team there.
Absolutely.
Did you mentioned the cover for the GPU? Did you say that was triggered based on weather?
Yeah, so it actually will, if the weather is sunny and bright outside, there won't be anything. I think it's based off the live weather though, and Seattle was raining yesterday, which is why I was out there, and I had changed the weather, I think, I have that Weather Preset Pro. I don't know if you guys saw that product from SoFly or not, but it had 20 something extra weather presets, so I turned that on. But yeah, it's Same with the
wow.
and that's why I said there's so much like little def that if people don't ask, like they don't even know. But like our sounds change. Like in the daytime, it's just regular wind and things. But if you're at night and you have the doors open, it's actually crickets. Like you'll hear like night crickets and all that. So
wow.
It's like little stuff like that.
It's the little things, man. That just brings the entire immersion together.
Yeah, man. Because I like to. I actually did a video you can find on our YouTube channel of Neofly, like doing a passenger mission. Like I really like to be in the role. Like I don't like it's fun to fly and just do a flight, like I said, but having some type of narrative or mission to kind of push you along is always just makes it a little better.
That's why so many people as well fly VAs, virtual airlines. Like it gives you a sense of purpose besides just flying from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And it's the similar dynamic or thought process here as well. It's like, all right, cool, I can get in a helicopter and just sightsee all day long, but let's take that to the next level and actually have missions and some of these other things that I can actually do and participate in. That's just flat out really cool.
Yeah, and you can completely ignore it if you don't care.
Exactly, and still fly anyway. Look at that. How come I've never noticed that before?
Yeah, that's been in there.
What?
Privacy window? Yeah. There's a couple of things. You got that back there. We've got the liquor cabinet in the back. There's a few little
liquor cabinet. What?
Yeah, I've seen the liquor cabinet. I've never noticed that the privacy window actually moves up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love that little stuff though. I do.
It's cool. I like it.
Absolutely.
That's sick. That's nuts.
So I mean, I talked about. So I got to ask you guys if I can ask just one question though. What have you guys been flying this week? Did you guys participate in the battle of the BAE versus the Mad Dog? Did you?
Well, I'll go first because mine's is quick and simple. I haven't flown any. Oh no, that's a lie. I finally did flew the Tampa, the Flight Tampa Boston series, like I mentioned. I did a quick flight. Yep. That was pretty cool. But other than that, I was away this week. I did some real world flying, but not flying in the sim. But Johnny's been at it, man. Tell us what you've been flying, bro.
Oh man, you know exactly what I've been flying. I don't know why it's no secret, Mike. Man, I've been flying the snot out of the Mad Dog. Not gonna lie, that MD-80, man. I've been following that particular developer. I had to go back and look this up, guys. So I went back and I looked. When I first bought that product was December 12th of 2009. And fast forward to today, and it's finally in 2020 now. And it's just mind
2009. You've had it since
2009. That Mad Dog's been out, and to see it now, I remember when the thing dropped. It didn't even have a virtual cockpit. Like there was no virtual cockpit. You had to virtually imagine. You had to imagine it in your mind, like that was the cockpit that it had. Everything was just like all 2D. And I mean, he's just been real steadfast at his work. And I mean, now, it just looks amazing. And I think they just released the 82, and I think the 83 and the 88 should be coming out as well. And then here we go. Just Flight drops the 146, and it's been a rough one. It's been a rough one for sure. It's been good, but it's been a rough one for sure. What about you, Steve? Man, what have you been sending?
So of course I've been flying the H145, sprinkling out stuff there. But I did pick up the 146. I haven't picked up the Mad Dog yet. I'm going to. I just haven't. And I figured let me get the cheaper of the two first before.
Right.
But man, it's impressive, man. Their team did a great job. Like I love this. They have so many great systems in there. Like we were talking about the quality of life stuff. Like they've got the the second in command that's yelling out the the call outs for you and all that without even having to select it. Yeah, man. He's doing the V1, the rotate, like all that automatically. They're implementing stuff like brake heat. Like something that most people don't even ever think about.
No. Yeah. And I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the exact team that did this because I know Just Flight uses a few different developers, but whoever did this one, man, they definitely went advanced. Like they've got some very cool things, even stuff that I have to take back to my team and be like, yeah, we should think about doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's been interesting for sure. But I'll tell you what, man, I know last week And this is for me is when y'all's product really comes in mind. I got off work, just a crappy day at work, fired the thing up, didn't have to worry about flight planning, none of that. Jump in it and just took it over Dallas at night. And I mean, it's just it's not stressful. It can be stressful, of course. You can adjust your settings or whatnot. But like I said, that's the Lord just didn't give me the ability to operate rotary aircraft. And so I keep it at the basics. But it's just
chopped up,
just like a man, exactly. I'll be calling the number for real, but it's like a cool drink of water, man. It's just a solid experience. And between that and these latest releases, GA wise, for sure, I've been definitely seeing the heck out of Flight Simulator's Cessna 414, and then Milviz is coming out with their 310 here this week.
Yeah.
And then PMDG's in background. We're not gonna. I don't know if anybody want to take bets on that one, but whether or not we're gonna see a 737.
They said before next weekend, right? Isn't it?
They said before next weekend. I think it's gonna be like a Friday morning release.
Yeah, it's always Fridays, I think.
It's gonna be like a 7 a.m. PST release. I'm betting.
Hey, I'm ready for it.
Gonna have folks scooting out of work early.
Oh man, it's gonna be VATSIM. It's gonna be nuts.
Oh, VATSIM is gonna be on fire. 737s all day long. Man, speaking of VATSIM, I got a question for you guys, man, and maybe it's just me. Gio, what's going on, man? Gio, welcome.
What's up,
Good to see you. Do we have model matching, like official model matching for VATSIM yet for 2020? I'm still using this very old generic freeware model matching thing that came out, I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after the SIB launched, and I forgot who it was and who it's by, and they were keeping it up to date for a little bit. I haven't heard anything new, and I constantly, whenever I do get on VATSIM in 2020, like either the models are transparent, no one's showing up, or it's just flat out wrong. So I don't know if like I'm using old stuff and there's been a new release out there and new model matching that I'm not aware of, but you guys let me know, man. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I got some feedback. So I use let me make sure I get the name right. I call it AIG.
Okay.
Yeah,
AIG. Alpha India Group. That works for VATSIM? I thought that was its own sort of separate schedule thing that you actually have to turn off when you fly VATSIM because it injects traffic like from real world schedules.
So there's two parts to it. So the main part of it is, as a manager, it has all the liveries and the models to match the the codes from the sim. So whether it be live traffic or the AI traffic, so it matches it based off the prefix, Southwest, JetBlue, all that kind of stuff. So that's the first part of it. Then it has its own traffic injector as well, which is they took all the pre-pandemic flight plans. I won't say all, but they took a huge amount of the pre-pandemic flight plans. They have those, and you can inject those into the sim as AI flight plans. Forget about the Asobo online, and that's supposed to simulate a more realistic world.
More realistic world, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not real time, but at least it's real world flight plans. But what you would do is you would take that, and then on flightsim.to, there's another add-on which does all the VATSIM model matching based off the models provided by AIG. So that's like the 360 solution to have you taken care of.
All right. See, I gotta go look into that now.
It's in depth, man. The downloading of the models takes hours. No lie.
I remember because I think I used to use them. Yeah, back in the FSX days, I think I had them at one point. And then the BVAI, Boston Virtual, I forgot.
I remember them.
Yeah, they came out with their own thing, and that sort of went sideways here, over the last year or whatever. But yeah, I remember AIG took forever to download all the stuff.
Much.
Okay, I'll go take a look because it's
it's
been Gio says so. Stalker and McSalmon, y'all don't stream but fly offline. This is our stream, man. We're streaming here. We're streaming
exactly.
That's funny. I remember Gio called me out one time in his stream like last week. It's Greg's fault. I'm gonna blame Greg Hill here publicly on the podcast. So I'm flying, right? And I get the the VATSIM right, I'm thinking it's ATC. It's a private message. And I'm looking, it's Greg. He's like, "Hey, Mike, I see you out there. Enjoy your flight." I'm like, "Hey, thanks, man. Good to see you." I appreciate it. So I get in the cruise and I'm like, all right, like I always do. I go on YouTube, see who's live, pop in their streams, and I see it's Gio. And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, Gio?" He goes, "Don't hate Gio me. I hear you out there flying. I see you on vaccine, but you can't stream." I'm like, "Oh man." So I'm in the chat. I see Greg. I'm like, "Greg, you really ratted me out?" He goes, "Yeah, man. Sorry, I'm just excited to see you."
That's funny.
Drop dime on it, man.
Drop the dime on me, man. That is hilarious. Listen, you can't undercover fly in this community, man.
No, man, you can't, man. You can't. You know, I've been hit up a few times, man. And I've just been, you know, you know. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Lately, I've been low key flying, man. I've been under radar, off bat sim and all, man. But it's great. It's great to see the camaraderie, though, for sure, man. Cool. It's just. You know how it is, man. Streaming, you know, on top of what we do, you know, I think right now, especially for me, it's been emphasis on, giving giving our devs to, the opportunity to really showcase their products and, to be an outlet for them, and I've, just by the grace of God, I've been blessed to be able to do it. So it's just, I mean, I've been loving it. You know, we've been meeting different folks. Ran into Steve last year, and it's just been, following him and his team. And it's just been an absolute blast. We're truly, truly blessed to, be able to, have such a, great community, even though we low key fly from time to time, but I mean,
we're still around.
Yeah, seriously though, thank you guys for what you do, man. Those developer interviews are so insightful. Even when you guys had the Spirit Pilot on, like that, I love it, man. Like
Robert, yeah.
I'm a big podcast listener already, so like having one that's actually in, like, I don't have many flight sim podcasts. I think you guys might be the only one that I have that I actually even listen to.
Wow, man, we appreciate
it, man. Yeah, definitely.
No, you guys do a great job. Like I said, man. I was marking out, pun intended, over that one with Mark. To be honest, man, it was just really good. So
appreciate it, man. Thank you. We'll get to definitely good to have you back on with us. You are always welcome at any time.
Always welcome.
Again, huge congrats to you and the birth of your second child. Hope you and the family continue to stay well, man. And we'll be here if you need us.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Let me know if you guys ever need anything from me. If you want to do something for a giveaway, whatever, just let me know. I'll do whatever I can.
That. I appreciate you, that. Awesome. Yeah. Any parting words for our audience here, Steve?
No, just if you guys are interested in the H145 and the stuff that we're doing over at Hype, we're at hypeperformancegroup.com, and same on pretty much every social media platform, even TikTok, but I'll never be logged in. You'll just be messaging nobody. Man, I made this TikTok. I uploaded one video. I'm like, I can't get into this, man. I just can't. Like, the profile will always be there, but I will not. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, man. I just can't get into it. I mean, I see funny ones every now and again. I'm like, oh, that's funny, but me actually having a dedicated TikTok account.
Yeah,
probably not.
I'll catch it when it comes.
Exactly. I'll catch you on Twitter.
Oh man, awesome, Johnny, man. Any parting words? What you got going on?
Man, no. Only thing I got going on is letting these fine people know, man. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to check out their H145, definitely check it out. I mean, you guys are missing out. This thing is phenomenal. Even if you don't care for helicopters, man, it is fun. I mean, heck, even Mike can send it. So I mean that's it. That's it.
When I'm trying to go forwards.
But yeah, but no, just can do it, guys. So now, like I said, we're just continuing to push. And give you guys list and greatest. Make sure you follow us.
I think we're
preferably. Am I flickering it?
Oh, you're
Elon,
back,
come on,
you're
man.
back,
Come
you're
on,
back.
been smearing that. There we go. All right. Bring back. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
just make sure you check us out on all the social media platforms. Facebook, we're on there as well. Just look us up, Close Traffic Podcast, and Twitter and the Insta as well. I think Mike has that on lock. Hey, Mike, you got the Insta on lock, man. I'm horrible on Instagram, bro.
Yeah, close _
right, cool.
traffic. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
You had one job, Mike.
I had one job, man. I know. I think I wanted to do just close traffic, and someone had it. I think it's close _
Who
traffic.
had it? Like, who has
Listen,
that?
man, I don't know. It was so weird. Listen, guys, go. You guys have our website, right? Close traffic.
Exactly.
I remember that one.
Check this out.
CloseTrafficPodcast.com, and everything is there, right? Links to all of our channels, links to our Instagram, our Facebook, links to our previous shows and podcasts, and you name it, everything's there. So definitely check that out, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Charlie rounding us out here. Congrats on the 145 and the new baby, Mr. Steve. So awesome.
Thanks,
you
Charlie.
guys be good, take care, and until next time, keep the blue side up. We'll see you.
See it.
Adios.